We are live.
We are live. 7 days away.
7 days away. Been a lot of live stuff going on lately.
You're so famous, Mr. Ryan, or as some call you, Rim.
Some call me Rim.
Tim and Rim together. Tim and Ryan together.
I think it's because they're next to each other on the keyboard. I don't know. It makes no difference, but yeah, a lot of. This is day 3 of live events. What day? Today is Thursday, so today is the show. Wednesday, that was yesterday. We were on Wavy 10 promoting the World Cup.
I saw you on there.
Tuesday, we were on WTKR promoting the World Cup. Last month or the month before, we were on 13.
Channel 13. Oh, that QR code right there. Let's hope it goes. Let's see. If you're interested in going to the biggest business bash of the summer, Star World Cup, just click that link, put your phone out, do it. It's going to be a wild ride.
It's going to be big. This will be one of the events that people talk about for a long time. Guaranteed.
For it either flopping or for it being amazing, right?
It's not. There's no flop. I mean, we have put in the work. We have put in the work. It's going to be next level.
Monstrous.
Zach, do you want to give any secrets?
Yeah.
Just give us 2 secrets.
Okay. So the first thing I would say. And then the second thing would be so I'm just really excited to
Dude, that second thing, everyone is going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited. This will be fun. It's I think you said this a couple weeks ago. It's spicy. Let's go. Dude, the real question I'm getting a lot of is what am I going to wear? I probably am getting that. People aren't asking about the event. They're asking about what are you wearing this time?
It's a business event. It's a startup business event.
So I said, I don't know. Maybe a banana hammock. Maybe a banana hammock with a jean jacket.
We do have to discuss.
Tim, we've already discussed this. Don't act like we haven't done it. All right. So, today's guest way better than me. You guys go somewhat way back. Excited for this conversation.
Yeah.
He is one of the finalists that'll be on stage next week. Mike McMahan. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm great. Never asked you.
You had me at banana hammock, so I'm in.
You wouldn't be the only one. So, as a big wrestling fan, which you probably don't know about, is there any relation McMahan to the McMahan family, WWE, or no?
No, we get that. We get Jim McMahon as well. Football.
Oh, the old QB.
The Super Bowl shuffle.
Yep. But here's the little known thing. Their last name is spelled O-N, and I'm an A-N. So.
Oh, you're right. Oh. Now I see it. God. Journalism integrity is already gone. It's lost. It's out the building. Sorry, that was a Zach.
Thanks for noticing that.
It's
usually pronounced McMahan, but that's
really
roll with it. Yeah,
McMahan.
We hear all kinds of things.
Wow.
Wait, Tim, why didn't you tell me about that?
I didn't know. And
it's been saying his name the wrong
one of those things. Dude, you see stuff a meme of some kind and be like, what is this feature on the $5 bill? You probably looked at a $5 bill a million times, but not close enough to know a certain detail that is hidden in plain sight.
I just can't even read emojis. I don't even whenever someone sends me one, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Please send it to me in English.
The one that everyone uses that I get hung up on is the one with the crown and thorns, the godlike. I'm not really sure what that emoji signifies. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. We'll have Mike I'll send it over your way.
Please do.
But
okay, so you guys met at the Launchpad way back when?
Back in the day.
Back in the day, in Williamsburg. above Paul's Deli.
How much weight did you gain when we were there?
Well, between the beer and the sandwiches, probably about 30 pounds. So yeah.
I mean, it was a great place to have a space. Food was great.
You guys literally had your own basically entrance to the back of the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I definitely know that I put on a couple pounds because whenever you just portion size way too big.
The funny thing is I never saw you eat any salads, which is kind of odd.
No.
I'm
a super taster, Mike. I'm a super taster.
Mm.
We're an elite group of people.
That's what I heard.
One of two, maybe confirmed.
What were y'all working on then, Mike?
I had my other company down the street on Discovery Park, and I was opening up a second company with a different business partner. So I set it up in Launchpad to kind of separate the two entities since we were doing federal government contracting. So that's why we launched that second venture in Launchpad. My main company, SDV Solutions, which I ran for 21 years, was right down the street.
Which company did you have the exit?
SDV Solutions, yeah.
How does one go about deciding to, make that transition out of the company?
Well, it's kind of interesting. There was private equity was buying up a lot of commercial companies. There's two large private equities that were building up platform companies, and we saw them picking off different competitors. But they never approached us because we did 100% federal data center maintenance. And right before COVID, one of them approached us and said, "Oh, hey, we'll give you this great deal." And we said, "Oh yeah, great, hey, money." And what a blessing that COVID happened for us. It put a pause on that acquisition discussion because we weren't ready for the acquisition. And what ended up happening is I brought in some business advisors, and we kind of really prepared the company. And then when COVID kind of came back around or went away in 2023, we re-engaged those two companies and went through a process, due diligence, got the letter of intent, and sold. And from letter of intent, January 2024 to funding March 24, that quick.
Wow. So what's the adage? Companies are bought, not sold.
Yeah. And what was great is my wife and I owned 100% of the equity, so we got 100% of the money.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Yeah, that was one of the things, when during the whole process of, because we had 100 and some people that applied for the World Cup, and that was one of the things that stood out to at least from your standpoint to me was, you're a multiple founder, and a multiple founder with a successful exit adds a lot of credibility.
Yeah.
So you just you bored? So you decided to start another business, or?
No, it wasn't necessarily boredom. Once we sold the company, I had a little bit of time I had to spend with the buying company, which was about 60, 90 days. And then after that, I was free to do whatever I wanted, as long as it wasn't exactly what I just sold them. And the first thing I did is I went up to MIT and just did a deep dive into artificial intelligence, and spent about 6 months doing that, and really thought about what I wanted to do now that I have time and money and freedom to do. So I know federal government contracting, so I knew I wanted to be back in that space. I understand contracting rules, process, and looked at where the need was. And being a veteran and having spent time in VA hospitals, both in Richmond and Hampton, I said, let's see what we could do in the VA medical space and DoD space with AI, and see if we can make some improvement. So that's where we landed, brought in some advisors and looked at some of the largest problems that exist for veterans and see where we can move the needle. So it's more of a passion as opposed to, I don't want to say necessarily just chasing money. It's something that means something to me.
And that's super important. And I tell founders right off the bat, it's like, if you're chasing money, you're not in it for the right reasons. And your first difficult day, first time you get punched in the face, it's not going to get you up the next morning to start to go back to solving that problem.
Right.
Because you don't care as much. Because it's like, all right, well, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to make a buck.
That's right. What's your thoughts? Like, so you spent 6 months in Cambridge area and Boston. What's your thoughts on that ecosystem there? I mean, is it clearly night and day different? But there's also some benefits that I feel that we have on ours here locally. But what are your thoughts on the ecosystem?
Yeah, so the ecosystem up there is electric. There's so much going on between academia with Harvard, with MIT. There's so much venture capital money up there, not compared to San Francisco or Silicon Valley, but there's a lot of energy up there. There's 1,000 events up there. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of money, and there's a lot of smart people up there. So it's wonderful to be up there. And I had shared some stuff with you. And I actually briefly had worked with an accelerator up there and advised some companies that were looking at the federal space. So gave them some of my expertise. But coming back down to Hampton Roads and being part of this ecosystem, the benefit of this ecosystem is you get some of the same exact stuff. As you guys know, I'm building this company right here at William & Mary and her entrepreneur lab. And so I'm quickly tied with academia, some research, some data science. We're going to bring some data science resources to bear on our projects. But the biggest thing that is beneficial to this area is you're not one of 1,000. You're one of hundreds, and there's everybody knows everybody here. In the Boston ecosystem, you can get quickly lost, especially if you're starting out a company. And then also from an event standpoint, you want to have events, but sometimes there's like too many events. You're trying to pick and choose which events to go to up there. And sometimes there's multiple events each day. So it's a wonderful area. There's a lot going on around startups, around bringing academia and businesses and venture capital together. But we got something special here as well in Hampton Roads.
Yeah.
Small fish, big pool type of thing, big pond.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the first place because I went there recently on a trip. And the first place that we went to, I can't remember which one it was, but they said they had 850 startups just in their one building. It's just like, man.
It's probably CIC was probably the
company. It was CIC. Yeah.
All stages or like
yeah, no, all stages. They have the incubator process. They have all the way up to Series D companies that are headquartered in there. They have 2 different buildings, and it's just stacked. And we have actually our Boston address. If you look at our website, is in that CIC building.
Oh, is it really?
Broadway. Yep.
Yeah, and
I still maintain.
Are you on the 800 then?
Yeah, I guess technically, yeah.
There you go.
What was your question, Zach?
Are you one of the 800 then?
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing, I guess to Mike's point, it's just like, man, as my co-host likes to stand out from the crowd, it makes it a lot more difficult to be the anomaly, if you will.
Correct.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, I tell everyone
Zach.
This is the biggest small town you're ever going to be part of. I mean, you can get.
But isn't that a good thing?
It's a great thing.
I'm going to knock both of us at this point, but we were just like donkeys, 2 decades ago, didn't know anything, and then we're able to make it. I mean that nicely, but it's just
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Us in other cities, us in bigger cities, that's way harder, but you can make way more impact here too. To Mike's point about there being so much. So I think that's a huge asset that is underutilized, undermarketed.
Well, and then
from
when
this
you
area.
combine that with the fact of, like, Mike, you're still plugged into the resources up there, but not knowing what the future plans are of your business. But if you were to raise capital, man, the capital that you can raise and use down here versus the cost of rent up there, I mean, you can stretch your dollars out so much further down here than if you were in a Kendall Square or in a Austin, San Francisco. I mean, those prices are crazy.
I remember when Glenn Moriarty of Seven Cups, this is what, 2013 timeframe. So Tim, you and I knew each other at this point. He went through YC 12 years ago, 13 years ago. They gave him 120 grand. He said he blew through that in like 2 months. And a lot of it was just living out there because the rent was so obnoxious. And then obviously they threw some ads in there and stuff like that. But like, that's crazy. Like, to go through that amount of money when it was just him, maybe one other person, I can't recall, on living expenses in a certain area. Like, that's crazy.
Well, and then if you're paying for employees, like living expenses, that's just one part of what the salary is covering. It's just super expensive to hire.
Not only salary, one of the things that we have here in Hampton Roads is the universities, the academia, and tap it into that is the cost to tap into that.
They just started their data science program, right?
Yep, right. Dr. Doug Schmidt, he actually came from the Pentagon recently to start up that college, data science.
I don't know what the exact number is today, but in 2015, there was 112,500 students in this region, which is a lot. And then you pair that with the Jefferson Labs, the NASA, and so many other pretty cool, spectacularly smart individuals. There's a lot of talent here.
Yep.
Dude, so much talent.
I did go to ODU too, so it took me 9 years, but I got a degree.
I'm laughing with you, Mike. I totally am laughing.
I'm a monarch.
So I didn't know we were interviewing Van today. Van Wilder. God, you guys are hilarious. You know what this region also has is Apollo's Chariot.
That's right. We did talk about that. Flavio was the original VC of Williamsburg.
The OG. So what excites you, or what, like, you talk about being involved in all these different places, whether it being the Launchpad back in the day, now at William and Mary, going up to Boston and associating yourselves with these places, these spaces. What's not everyone is into that. Like, what is it for you that really makes that impact, or why do you want to be involved in places like that? Not necessarily the city, but the actual physical location.
So I can't mention cities, but a physical location.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, not everyone wants to go to an incubator. Not everyone wants to go to a resource center or a place like you're in, at William and Mary or up in Boston. Why are those important to you, and what do you seek after when you're on this?
Because I did it the stupid way the first time. I started SDV Solutions in 2003. Had no idea what I was doing, and just grind it. Didn't get involved in any ecosystem. I bankrupted the company 2 times, up and down, different contracts. Not literally, but so I never reached out and actually leveraged any peer support, anything, and just grinded it out until I finally exited. Didn't even know how to do that properly, but it worked. So the first thing I thought about as soon as I decided to start this venture was, I'm going to do something different, because that sucked. So instead of being Mr. Ego that I know everything, I'm going to embrace different ecosystems, different places, different institutions, a little bit smarter, a little bit grayer, that I know enough now that I don't know everything. So let's get some resources around us, resources around myself to grow fast. And some of the problems that we're working on around VA health, they're very dire. They need solutions now. So I don't have 20 years to try to figure this out again. So I want to be able to bring to bear as much resources as possible, as quick as possible, to make as much human impact as possible.
It's well said. I mean, it's an uphill battle trying to do it on your own. And man, you can figure things out exponentially faster.
Yeah.
From those that have failed many, many times before, that's for sure.
Or one.
I tried to only fail once, but.
So what made you like get excited?
No, go ahead, Zach. I was going to go into more of what NGZ is about, because I think that's an awesome start in terms of where you're targeting.
Yep. So is that your question, or am I waiting for Zach?
I was going to ask more about like the 6 months and the 6 months and the robots up in Boston, like why that, like what piqued your interest into that? Because you said you wanted to learn about that and you enjoy it. So like what is it about the robots that?
Well, when I immediately decided that I wanted to know about artificial intelligence, I said, well, where's that biggest source of knowledge? And that's MIT. So I went up there. They have a lot of both virtual and also in-person courses. So I took some deep dive courses in AI in healthcare, AI for senior executives. And that introduced me. I want to know what was possible other than what, the crap you read on news that everybody's going to think that it's going to take our job. So that gave me the knowledge deep enough to see where I could apply it in a problem area that it was passionate about, veteran health. So we're actually part of the CSAIL Alliance, which is Computer Science Artificial Intelligence Lab up at MIT. So that also gives us another body of research, body of knowledge, and resources that we're tapping into to bring to bear.
Yeah, and so jump into NGZ. What is the first problem set that you're tackling, and where you're starting with that?
Yeah. So again, veteran health and DoD health. If you look at those are the two largest health systems in the world. And a lot of times, in my own experience, you might see commercial healthcare systems come in and try to apply commercial health solutions to veteran health, to DoD health, and it's sometimes apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and but a lot of times it doesn't fit. So that's why we wanted to build out solutions that look at the veteran patient or the active duty soldier patient first, as opposed to taking commercial solutions and try to fit it into that round peg and square hole. So that was the first item that we laid out, our cornerstone on our building, on our company. Then we said, okay, well, what are the problems that exist? And there's so many things that we could definitely move the needle. And the one that just kept on coming up top was veteran suicide. It's still a significant issue. It's gone down just a tad, but it's still double the national average. And then so that was the problem that we're tackling first, is looking at how we could reduce the numbers of veteran suicide.
Yeah, it's
a heavy topic.
It is, and me being a prior Air Force on my end, and certainly several people that I was service members with, ended their life in that manner. And I mean, there was a stretch that, my heart just went out to my commander. I mean, it was just multiple suicides over a short period of time where I was like, man, I don't know how he's just rough having to present that flag to the parents. I mean, it's really difficult.
Yeah, and on the active duty side and the reserve side, suicides is a mission readiness issue as well. So we're addressing that at the same time.
Is there? I don't know what the correct way to say this. Is there like usually a reason why that veteran suicide is higher than that standard rate that you were talking about? Like, is it the condition? Like what is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, there's a lot. And again, I don't want to come across, I'm not a clinician, so this is Mike's knowledge in that alone. We do have clinicians we brought in. We've hired a bunch of former VA, actually the head of the VA suicide prevention for 5 years, Dr. Caitlin Thompson. She works for us now. So in discussion, there's a lot of different things, but some of the things that are unique to veterans is typically a loss of identity. So once they separate from the service, there's that structure, they lose identity. That is a huge factor. Even the way people are discharged and the labeling that is put on individuals, because we still use the word honorable discharge. There's a lot of veterans that don't get that label. And that doesn't mean they necessarily were dishonorable, but other than honorable discharge, puts a label on an individual that could have some significant impact. So those type of identity related things, the separations, and then of course the PTSD that veterans see that's similar to first responders. That PTSD lingers for years and years and probably the rest of their lifetime.
And the crazy thing is that the amount of training that we would go through to identify signs, or just if you were feeling a certain way and still didn't solve the root cause of the problem. It's just, can you get into some of the methods that you have in terms of what you're doing?
Yeah, what we did. Yeah, first thing was we looked at what's currently being used by the VA or DoD from an app. We started looking at technology, obviously, and they use apps today. DoD and the VA use apps, but they require a lot of user engagement. Chat bots. Hey, how are you doing today? And it requires a lot of input from the user. A lot of data leaves the phone to get passed over to a clinician or to maybe an AI model to do some scoring. So we looked at that and said, well, can we use technology to actually flip it on its head and have it more passive to the user and have all the data stay on the phone and still score some and get some measurable results on scoring and building our algorithms on the phone. So therefore, data is not leaving the phone, and more importantly, the user's not having to constantly engage the phone in order for the application to work. So that's the path we took. We worked with a nonprofit out there called Stop Soldier Suicide. They're out of Raleigh. Very excellent nonprofit, and that's their main mission is stop soldier suicide. And they received a grant a couple years back from the VA to actually look at devices post-event. So they got all these devices from family members that couldn't get into them. Then they were able to see what that digital signal was presenting. And we're using a lot of their research and data to kind of train our models around those events. And what was, to summarize their information and data is they saw that about a week and a half or 2 weeks prior to event that their actual activity changes on their phone. Isolation happens. They start searching up SGLI. There's a lot of other digital crumbs that are there on the device that we're trying to pick up those signals and actually notify with a risk-based score out to a clinician.
SGLI stands for
Service Groups Life
Insurance.
Life insurance.
So if I understand what you just said, by having this app, it can go through and track what soldiers or veterans are going through. That notifies you, and you know that from this data point, sounds like 1 to 2 weeks in that period is where it could go the wrong way. and build off of that data point? Is that because that's where it can take that turn?
Yeah, you simplified it, but it's about 68% accurate. So we're looking at time series of data that's on the phone. As we all know, these phones have so much data on them now. There's sleep data, there's steps, the typical heart rate data that we would see from wearables. We look at that data over time, but then we also layer on top of that maybe indicators around community. So are they isolating? And some of those things could be how many Bluetooth devices is that phone seeing? Because you could determine community based upon number of Bluetooth devices. You could look at GPS. You could look at a lot of different things. The response rate on text, measuring that. So if someone normally responds to text messages this period amount of time, and if that time starts to increase, that's another indicator. So it's taking all of these indicators together and applying an algorithm, AI algorithm, to determine a risk score, simple from 0 to 10, 10 being the worst. And over time, what we're seeing is we could see the subtle changes, because everybody has up days and down days, all of us do, and you could start seeing those. And it's just when that down days start happening at a higher velocity that we're going to signal. And again, provide an Amber Alert type notice to a clinician or a family member to say, hey, you might want to check in. Because we do know there's research out there that if someone just had checked in, had just reached out, put their arm around that individual, it could save lives.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff is just, it's flooding back memories, just in terms of like from when I was, because like one of the things, Zach, is like being in uniform, you're around a lot of sensitive information or sensitive situations. And like, so even if you do something as small, if you say something to somebody, then you can't, at least in my career field, you couldn't do your regular day-to-day duty. You couldn't do that. And then you would like be put on weeds and seeds or halls and walls. So you couldn't do what your normal day-to-day jobs. You're out there picking up trash or mopping floors or something. And then that like just further escalates the problem because now you're signaled out. You can't be part of the team. You can't be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then that just, it's, boy, I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time.
Yeah. So Tim, what's important about that and what we're trying to achieve is the user knows that none of their data leaves the phone. So there's no knowledge of what is happening.
Right. Yes.
It stays on the phone. So therefore, somebody with a TS clearance or other clearances could feel safe that they're not disclosing to the government their activities.
And a lot of times you won't, if you're going through something, you don't say anything because you don't want to be categorized into being able to do what you do on a day-to-day basis normally.
Or pride, right? Embarrassed. I'm sure those aspects of there are there too.
Also, there's a lot of people that suffer depression or other issues of mental illness indicators that they don't even realize that they're suffering. So they do this slow spiral and they don't realize how dangerous it is to them as they spiral down. And I speak from experience on that. So,
has there been any?
Which one is it going to be?
Go ahead, Zach.
Did you serve, Mike?
Yeah.
And
of course, you read my bio, so therefore you would have.
I'm looking. I don't see it.
It's there. So I joined the Air Force 3 weeks out of high school in 1989, and because I just wanted to serve, but I wanted to serve in the Air Force because I had the longest technical school. Got trained up on F-15 fighter jets and got stationed at Langley Air Force Base. That's what brought me out here.
Got it. So when you flew the F-15 fighter for about 4 minutes, that was a joke?
No.
Got it.
I wasn't a pilot, but there's more story to that. But I ended up, I don't know if they still do it, but they did incentive flights back in the day. And Langley had a couple B models, which were 2-seaters. And I made Airman of the Year 1990, 91. And I got to go up in an F-15 in the back seat.
Nice. Never had a chance to do that. I always joke with everyone that I flew M16s because I was in security forces.
Yeah, no, it was other than watching the birth of my 3 daughters, it's probably one of the best experiences.
Are these the planes that they fly around at Oceana? F-15s?
Oceana is Navy.
Yeah,
so
that's
that'd be
F-18s.
They got rid of the 15s. They have 22s over at Langley now.
Got it. What's that one that you always talk about, Tim, that you really like?
I like the B2 just because it looks pretty. It's pretty tough, but I also enjoy watching the F-22s out there. I especially like watching the demo team outside of in my backyard whenever they're training and practicing. It's pretty impressive stuff that they're able to do. So I'm curious, is there any pushback or like are airmen and soldiers or sailors do you anticipate there being any resistance to opening up their phone to measure this stuff, or is this going to be something that would be directed or opt in? How would that work?
Well, we anticipate resistance. I mean, Americans are pretty, any American's going to go, what? You're going to download this thing and now I'm not really doing anything, but it's going to be looking and listening and see what I'm doing. So we're building out ways to share with the airmen and the soldiers how to trust. And we're going to use some key members. I can't disclose who we're going to use because they're not on board yet, but some people that are well known nationally around this topic, and they're going to be saying that this is safe, and we're going to have it. We're literally going to have it tested and are benchmarked out, showing that none of the data leaves the phone. It's no different than like today. My wife and I, we this happened a couple of months ago, talking about buying a car at CarMax. And next thing you know, I open up Facebook and all of these cars that we were just talking about are ads in Facebook. So, as society, we kind of come to realize that, there's a lot of data that we let go on this phone.
Yeah, well, especially when it comes to something like that. I mean, I think that's super, super important. But like even like the Aura ring, I mean, like it will tell me days ahead of time, hey man, slow down. Things are, your heart rate's elevated, your body temperature's elevated, just take it easy for the next couple of days because we sense you're about to get sick, or get a cold or something.
Yeah, maybe you should eat more salad.
Can't guarantee that.
I saw him literally remove lettuce from sandwich.
It was a wilted, nasty looking piece of lettuce, man. It's like, come on.
He had to open said sandwich to inspect, to find. Just saying. I have video. The real question is, will there be salad at the Startup World Cup?
There will be a vegetarian option 100%.
But my guess is there will not be salad. Ugh. This is a heavy topic, and it's a topic that I think is incredibly important to address. I'm interested, just like I'm going to use the business word, like it's a niche, but it doesn't just have to be the military aspect of that. Is it try to figure out the military, the veteran suicide first and then move over, or like how do you think through that? Because the bigger market is not just the veterans. So like, how do you think through that?
Correct. Yeah. I don't want to, I guess I'll share one slide of my pitch next week, but our go-to-market strategy is, again, like I said, develop solutions that are veteran soldier first, but we know this has commercial crossover to first responders, to students, the student population, so different student populations, to a society as a whole. So what we're able to do when we're building our models, if we take the veteran first model, we'll pre-train models that will identify suicide risk in students because they have a different structure, a different model that would be indicative of risk for them. So the IP that we're building out is not just a very narrow niche into veterans. It's the whole gamut of mental health disorders and the population that it affects.
Well, one thing that's really interesting was listening to a podcast last week. They're just talking about now, like the amount of information that people are sharing with a ChatGPT or with Grok. I mean, they're using them as therapists, and and they're confiding in them. So it's that from that standpoint, it's super interesting. And then therefore, would OpenAI, if they were subpoenaed to share that information, are they going to have to, or are they going to encrypt it and that they're not going to have access to it? But it's interesting how AI is being leveraged, the direction that it is going, and just the amount of information that people are sharing with the platform.
And one of the things, if you look at what the recent release with ChatGPT 5, they also released some information about what they call their small models. So these small models actually run on the edge devices like a cell phone. And what that does, if you build and train a specific model for a specific task, you're not trying to do everything. You're trying to look for certain things. And therefore, you don't need to run it in the cloud. You can use the data that's on that edge device and actually produce the results that you are looking for. So we're leveraging. So this wasn't even possible. What we're talking about wasn't even possible 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So you had a convergence of smartphones that are now more robust than most computers that we have from processing power and from compute power, from data storage power. And now you have these models with ChatGPT, and there's another model that came out of MIT called Liquid AI. And they have some very small models, which basically, again, will run on, they'll run on a Raspberry, which not technical. It's basically a small little box that has about as much compute power as a Timex Sinclair.
Yeah,
so it's bringing those new models and training them for a very specific task and keeping it on the device. So therefore, you don't have to move the data.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, what a noble mission this is. I mean, and so applicable, across. I really hope that this is the thing that can solve it. Like to your point, this hasn't been possible until now. And if you can just save one life, it's worth it.
Yeah. Also on our vision board, we literally have ROI of 1. That's our motto. Is we're going to get a return on investment when we save one life, and we've pretty much, if we could save one life, we know we could save 10. We could save 10. We could save 100. Is it going to solve it? Is it going to move it to the needle to zero? No, it's absolutely not. But it's going to move the needle, and people are going to be alive because of what we're doing.
It's wild because this thing shares so much more information, and we could see so much more. And so there's so many positives from that, but then there's so many negatives from it too. And it's so, like, I did not grow up with a cell phone. My guess is neither of you guys grew up with cell phones, right? Like, I might have had a beeper in like 11th grade, and I wasn't a doctor, wasn't just trying to get paged. Drug dealer. Yes. Never been a drug dealer.
I had a beeper as well, but
so like, I didn't even have internet until like 9th grade, maybe.
Yeah.
And so just to see the kids now that are going through this, and even actually as full-grown adults, we are now consuming so much information. Like, we don't process, we process so differently than we would have before, where we were kids just growing up, getting outside. It's like, I love it and I hate it at the same time, right? It's like, thank you for providing us all this information so that we can figure out anything and dissect it, whatever. But also, like, how are we going to get back to that getting outside and playing like kids and doing all those things? Because I think a lot of that stuff is grown from that. And you see like parents just handing a phone to a kid, and then it's like, I don't know where I'm going with this, just saying that there's just so much consumption and there's so much technology. At the end of the day, I feel like what made us so great was at 3 o'clock, we went outside and we didn't come home till 8. We were playing all the time. We were having real,
come on, when streetlights come on.
Streetlights.
It is wild. I mean, when Steve Jobs was like 10,000 songs in your pocket, and where we are now, I mean, what a crazy evolution that the phone has made. And did I see something, maybe it was your pitch deck or whatever, as part of what you're doing, that they take a selfie every day as well?
Yeah. So the only touch point that the user, the patient, the soldier would do is a check-in, and that check-in would be a low touch, 3 clicks. So that could be basically one of 3 reasons. One, we want to validate, if something's somebody's starting to go spiral down, we're going to validate and have them just check in. And it's a selfie. It's because facial expressions can get scored as well, even if you force a smile. You could determine mood based upon facial expression,
especially once you have the baseline.
Correct. So then you have a data point there, and then there's just as simple as a 1 to 5 stars. How's your day going? And submit. So that could also initiate activation from a clinician to check in with you based upon that data alone. But we're also validating that the model is doing what we think it's doing, because we're also going to not just queue up a check-in on a low point. We're going to also queue a check-in when we think you're having a good day or things are going well, because we also want to validate the high part of our data spectrum. So, but it's click, check, and then it's not every day. It's infrequent, and then the clinician could also initiate a check-in as well. And then again, the response rate of that check-in is another data point in itself.
One of my favorite quotes is from this. I think I've shared this with you, Tim. It's from this Olympian. I can't think of her name, but she used to run, I think, the 10,000 meters, something like that. And her coach provided this information to her. And she was like in training, I guess. And it was a third of the days are like the worst training days. Third of the days are amazing days. And then the other third are somewhere in betweens. I sat there and I was like, that's really interesting, because that's probably life. Some days are good, some days are incredible, and some days are somewhere in between. And it was just like, it's okay. Like, and so like, just articulating that and saying that out loud, even though I had never heard it before 3-4 years ago, I was like, wow, like that's pretty profound. And so a lot of this stuff, maybe it's just about education too. It's like, hey, like we need to get this stuff out there. Like, hey, like it doesn't rain every day. It's going to be sunny some days, and some days it might be a little overcast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking through, like, gosh, like the different things that if or when you're able to integrate that into your model. I mean, super exciting just in terms of, like when I get my push notifications from Apple Health, that, hey, your resting heart rate has changed. There's a new trend in this, or there's a new trend in that. I mean, like if you're able to correlate all that stuff together, I mean, it's super big fan of what you got going on and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, thanks.
And even if you wanted to look at it from a cynical standpoint, I would think that insurance companies would be about this as well. I mean, like certainly they want to save life or whatever, but when it comes down to it, they're in it for dollars and cents. And, there would almost be a thing that if you opted in with something like that you can get a lower policy, perhaps. I don't even know, but
yeah, the from a business standpoint, the revenue model is all around remote patient monitoring. It's going to be a software as a medical device. So we're going to go through and get FDA approval around that. So it's going to be integrated into the healthcare system. So this is not going to be like some novel app that you and I would download. It would be something, because we want to make sure that it strengthens the relationship with the clinician. That doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's like in for suicide watch and they're going to get this app and that those are the only people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that go just see a provider, and the whole idea is when we talk to the clinicians, they shared with us one thing that kind of sticks out and resonates with us. Patient will come in, they'll talk to them, they'll get some baseline idea of how they're doing in the 45 minutes they get to talk to them. They go, yeah, everything's great. Patient walks out the door, they have no idea what happens next for the next 60 days till the next appointment. There's financial issues that happen. Somebody can be served divorce papers the next day. There's all kinds of stuff that happens that we think that we'll be able to pick up digitally and score effectively and provide the patient, the person using this application, and then the clinician say, hey, you might want to check in with Mike, things have changed. And it gives that touch point, gives the clinician or family members, another point of information. Again, not knowing what's going on, they have no idea what's going on, but we're picking on up something digitally that something is affecting the individual negatively.
Super smart.
Yeah. And as I'm listening to you talk, Mike, one of the things that it's, again, you being in the military, you being a multiple time founder, I mean, you've picked up a lot of wisdom along the way that enables you to think about things in a different way to provide the best product and business possible. If this is someone's first business out of the gate, I don't think that they would have put as much thought into it as you have.
Well, by the way, this is not easy to do at all. This is
extremely
hard. When I go in here and talk to the data science, people here at Wilmary, they're like, you want to do what? And it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is not what we're going to do this. Figure out a way. It's possible. I know it's possible. And from a person, I'll share this personally, going back to my military days, I was medically retired with Gulf War syndrome in 1993 at the age of 23. And I was pushed out of the military and I wanted to make the Air Force my career. So I suffered from suicidal ideation. I had some very low points throughout 20 years. And I didn't realize that that point of inflection back to when I was summarily discharged from the military, honorably discharged, that had profound lifelong impact on me. So this is personal, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah. And I'm super, super thankful and grateful that you're taking on this mission for sure. Man, the possibilities. I don't know. I think, like to your point earlier, a lot of people would naysay about AI, but man, talk about it now. This is an opportunity of the AI being used for the good. I mean, it's just, man, super, super cool.
Is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
Let's see. We covered salads. We covered military. We covered the fact. Yeah, we covered the fact that you don't know anything about the military, Zach. The one thing I'll say, because we're on the topic of suicide, if someone's watching, if somebody's struggling, there is help out there. There is a veteran crisis line. Use it. It's 988. Press 1, 24/7. So there is help that is out there for people that exists today that you don't need to struggle with issues. So anybody could DM me. They could reach out to me. I could share my experience, strength, and hope. And if that helps, then I'm willing to do that as well. So.
Well, this is a tough topic.
You know what's interesting? Like, I feel like what NGZ is trying to do is be more proactive on that, though. As I heard you say that, and I've seen that, call this hotline all the time, and it's waiting for someone to declare that they need that, right?
Right.
And this literally just came to me, and so let me spitball it out. But like, you're being proactive on that by taking all this data point that they are providing you and saying, hey, like this is showing something. This is showing a sign that maybe this is it. And maybe like, it just seems like a completely different thing, right? If you think about, I don't know what they are, but like the 12 steps, if you will, right? You have to declare that you have a problem, right? In any kind of addiction, I believe is like the first thing.
It's the very first step, actually.
Right. So my guess is that's the hardest step of all of those things, right? Because people don't want to declare that. But if
nor do they know that they need to declare that. It's not necessarily
absolutely.
They don't want to. They just don't know it.
Absolutely. And so by you giving them a notification, just like they receive every day, it's going to be a very interesting ride to see how that notification, if that hopefully is the thing that helps save their lives.
Or even if like when in the setup, if you hit a certain trigger, send a notification to whoever you self-select, the person that's closest to you, to say, hey, check in on this person, because I don't know, man. It's
yeah.
I appreciate
heavy stuff. Appreciate you doing this.
So if everybody can come out next week, support my pitch. I'd appreciate that. So need free tickets, contact me. I'll send you the link. I don't know if that link you guys sent me was good for 1,000 free tickets, but I'm going to use it as stops.
If you do, that would be a good problem to have. If anyone wanted to come to support you, we will give you more tickets.
Okay.
When you want to lighten things up, where's the place you like to go? We talked about Paul's Deli, staple in the Williamsburg area, but is there a restaurant of the region? Is there a food of the region? What?
Well, we live downtown Williamsburg now, within walking distance of Merchant Square. So you usually find me on the bench in front of Aromas 4 days out of the week.
Oh, really?
With my dog, my Labradoodle. And so the other place we like, wife likes a lot, is Aromas, or not Aromas, Amber Ox. So from a foodie standpoint, that's it.
Aromas is a coffee shop, I'm assuming.
Aromas coffee, yes. Yep. And we travel a lot. Personal passion of mine is scuba diving. I'm a dive master, so I love scuba diving. Don't do it much of it around here because scuba diving in the James River would be probably pretty disgusting. But so
where's your favorite place to scuba
dive? Grand Cayman. Yep. We lived there for like a year and a half. Oh,
very cool.
Yeah. So anywhere where there's Caribbean blue waters, how's that?
How in shape do you have to be to do scuba?
Basically, you have to float and breathe. So I think you can do it.
Do you have to clean shave before you go to ensure the seal?
No, you could put wax. There's other stuff to put around there that'll seal it. Yeah, around the mask and stuff. So
was Martin Dorm bearded when we had him on the show? Tim?
I don't know. I'd have to check the tape, but I know that
they do Chesapeake Bay diving, and they repair
all the underwater welding stuff.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I got into photography underwater, which is pretty fun but pretty expensive for the camera and the housing that goes around it. That was some fun times. But diving is, as I tell my wife, I said, it's a sport. She's like, it's not a sport. You just float. It's like, no, you get a workout. So sure beats the Peloton.
That is true. It that's just something. Learning how to get comfortable underwater, but it's because I feel like I'm a fairly strong swimmer, not as strong as Zach, but there is still something about just I guess mentally allowing yourself to breathe underwater. That
well, I think there's a difference between pool and other water source, right? And so it's a completely different world. That current is a completely different world, and
well, yeah, and like I think the best experience I had was went to Cancun right around this time of year to swim with the whale sharks as they were migrating, and you're just out at this boat for forever, going wide open until they spot them, and then next thing you know, they're jumping out. You're jumping out in pairs to go see them, and it's just like, man, it was a super cool experience. But if I was comfortable, I would have taken that super cool experience to the next level. Really comfortable.
Have I ever told you my Atlantis story, Tim? No. I'm a very good swimmer. I got rescued in a lazy river at Atlantis. I did not need to be rescued, but they have that is not a lazy river, by the way. It is a vicious river. And so there's this part where I guess I fell out of the float because it takes you down this waterfall, and the guy thought I needed to be rescued. I didn't. I was fine. But it was just kind of funny that why did you rescue me, not the other people? Because I'm the one who fell out. This is ridiculous. But now it's
so did you get mouth to mouth or AED paddles on you or something like that?
A little. I can't tell you actually what happened. No, he just picked me up off the water because it was 3 feet of water. Dude, why did you just rescue me? And then I'm pretty sure my wife was like, really? But it happened.
Well, we look forward to seeing you next week.
Say that again?
I said, let's take a cave diving then. Get you over that fear.
Okay, well, I've seen these people that go I don't know if it is spelunking or whatever, into these little holes. Absolutely
free diving stuff or whatever. Oh, I guess yeah.
Yeah, no.
They go into these holes.
Yeah.
Nope.
You do that 60 feet underwater now.
Nope.
A free dive that deep?
No, I never. You could actually free dive a lot deeper than that. I think they go 300 feet.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Look it up. It's crazy. They just shut their entire body system down. They just go on down. I don't do that. No, just diving in a cave. So a cave underwater with scuba gear. It's fun. At night, fantastic time.
Water at night's a different animal as well.
It is. There's different creatures too that come out.
See that? Then that's where it's. I put that almost in the same category as a salad, Mike.
Shut it down. I happened.
Craziest thing you saw in the water?
Probably a green Maury eel chased my daughter underwater. It came out of the rocks and was chasing her, which is unusual for them.
How big of an eel?
Green. It's about 9 feet long. Freaked her out. She was two of my daughters scuba dive, so she freaked out. I was laughing, but it was.
I'm assuming you carry a knife of some kind just in case.
No, well, we were spearfishing. We were hunting lionfish at the time. So, wow. Yeah. Fun times. It's no lazy river, but can't knock that either. Sounds dangerous.
There is something about a lazy river that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Mike, we appreciate your time. Looking forward to your pitch next week at Start World Cup. And
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks guys. Bye.